So today is a little bit of a different video than I've done before. Today I'm going to try and talk about an individual type of goldfish or variety called the bubble-eye goldfish. We can see in this footage here, it's a very interesting goldfish. I just want to say from the offset that I don't actually keep bubble-eye goldfish. Luckily enough, I've over the years had all this footage shared with me, or I've collected it as I've seen them in person. But yeah, I'll try my best to talk about this variety. So one thinking is that it started and came from a goldfish called the toadhead goldfish, or froghead is another name given to it. I've seen both of those written in books before. And this goldfish is a bit like the celestial goldfish. It's got upturned eyes, but very small sacs underneath, compared to those that you saw in the bubble-eye goldfish before, where they're huge, fluid-filled sacs. This one here is quite small, and that just gives it that different head shape. This variety here, you can see, still a dorsaless fish, much like the bubble eyes that we're talking about with the larger sacs. This one would be classed as a kind of a blue colour, which is nice. Really nice looking fish, this one. And in this shot we can see from above how those eye sacs are a bit smaller. And again, that dorsaless kind of profile, which gives it quite a unique look. The frog heads and toad heads can come in a variety of colours, just like the bubble eyes. And we've got some nice examples here. These were shared by Joshua McWilliams. So really nice long tails in that, which gives them a little bit of a different look. So the bubble-eye goldfish actually apparently emerged as a type of goldfish, a separate type of goldfish, in kind of early 20th century China. It was selectively bred, obviously, so it's got these huge fluid-filled sacs on each side of its head. In this example, you can see they are very big, so you can see how it's got its name, really, the bubble-eye goldfish. So these eye sacs do develop over the fish's life, and you may see that on a smaller fish, like these examples here, or some of these examples, they are a lot smaller. They do have upturned eyes, a bit like a celestial goldfish. That's potentially a goldfish I'm going to be doing another little profile on, I guess, in the future. No dorsal fin, so similar to things like oranchu or blue egg phoenix fish. And they are available in a lot of different colours. So this is a really nice example here of a black bubble-eye goldfish. I believe that is a little bit rarer, the black ones. But here they are available in things like red and white, calico. They can either be a matte, metallic or nacreous fish. So as I said before, all this footage has been really kindly shared with me, so massive thanks to people who've done that over the years. I've tried to make sure I credit everybody that asked to be credited, so their names will always appear at the bottom of the screen. So they can get kind of big. I mean, not as big as some goldfish, like the Joaquin goldfish, but they can get about 6 inches in length. And the best really place to keep them would be in a lower flow aquarium. We've got some really nice examples here actually, and you can see this particular aquarium has got them kept with really no ornaments at all, just sponge filters. There is a couple of celestials in this tank as well, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so it's housed with similar fish. That could be something that you think about. Maybe the frog heads that we saw before, or toad heads, they could be housed with those bubble eyes, or the celestials as well. We basically don't want fish that are going to get all the food before the bubble eyes have a chance to do that. So some nice examples here that I saw many years ago at Star Fisheries. But in terms of that kind of tank, we do want them in a lower flow environment. The reason behind that is because they could potentially damage those eye sacs. They are fluid filled and quite thin, so if they were to hit them on any kind of ornament, they could potentially damage those. We can see here there's a few in one tank, and there is actually one that I want to take note of because it has got potentially something that's going to be quite interesting. I'll talk about that in a second. So this one here is in a bit of a higher flow tank really, and it has had its one of its bubbles burst. Now if they do burst, they can regrow, but they're not always going to. And here we can see on this example, this one has had one of the bubbles burst. They may heal, may regrow, but potentially not the same size as they once were, and therefore they might not even out, which is something that people look for in bubble eye goldfish. So we've got some nice examples here as well. Again, this is I think from Star Fisheries on one of my visits there. That's a shop based in the UK if you weren't too aware of that. So this can be a fish that sort of divides opinion really. Whether people think they look cute and are happy swimming around in the tank finding their food, whereas some people aren't too sure because of the sacs that potentially limit that swimming ability. But I mean, as I say, I don't keep these fish myself, but it's kind of, this is just a video to outline what I know about them and this nice footage that I'd collected. So we can see this is that tank, same tank as before. I just wanted to highlight the fact there is really not that much ornament in there. And the fact we've just got really low flow sponge filters really mainly running this. Now, every now and then there may be an individual that could have, you know, through gene permutation, it could have developed extra bubbles on its chins, and this is the example I wanted to point out here. So I shared this video and you can just see that one of them has got an extra bubble just underneath. I think I'll pause the video in a second. There you go. And unfortunately for this goldfish, it's actually had a pebble stuck in that extra sac that's underneath its mouth. Now these are a little bit different to the bubbles that appear underneath the eyes, and luckily for me, Lay from Goldfish Corner was very kind and said that I could reference his video and include some footage because he did a little video on this quite recently. So the goldfish, this is called a double bubble goldfish. I've heard it, or potentially a quad bubble goldfish. Now I've heard it called both those things referenced on the internet, but the actual sac is underneath the jaw and it's connected to the mouth, so that's why we could see the pebble in that other footage there. And this is a relatively new breed, so it's, you know, if you want to see more of that, I would suggest you go and look at Goldfish Corner, Lay's channel, and he's done a really detailed video on this fish. So, you know, it's one of those fish that, like I said, can cause a little bit of division. We can see hopefully through this video how the goldfish has kind of developed slightly from the frog head to the bubble eye to the quad bubble. And anyway, I just want to say thanks again to all the people that shared the footage with me. And this is the kind of video you'd like to see in the future. Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Bye.